Morning. This is Nana's Nuggets, and today I'm coming to you with a request from Avea. She's asked me to tell one of my favorite stories and to also tell some stories from my childhood. So I thought that I would combine them together. And I will start with one of my favorite stories from when I was a child and the impact that this story had on my life as a child. And that is a story of the Three Billy Goats Gruff. So once upon a time, in this beautiful meadow, there lived 3 billy goats, and they all were named Gruff. And there was a big billy goat Gruff, medium-sized billy goat Gruff, and a little itty-bitty baby billy goat Gruff. And one day they were looking, and they noticed that across the stream that was running down and over the bridge, that the grass looked a little greener over there. So they wanted to go start eating in that meadow because it looked so enticing. So the little baby billy goat Gruff decided he would go first. What they didn't know was that underneath the bridge there was this horrible troll that lived, and he had huge ugly eyeballs and a big nose, and he was ugly and green with grody hair and just your horrible nightmare. But they didn't know that. Well, little Billy Goat Gruff came, trip, 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 and he came to the bridge and he started going tip, 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 tip. And a voice said, "Who is that crossing across my bridge?" "It's just me, little Billy Goat Gruff." "Stay where you are, for I am going to eat you up." "But I am so tiny. Will you just wait? My bigger brother is coming. He's much bigger than me, and he will taste so much better." So off little Billy Goat went. And you know what? Actually, if you think about it, it's kind of rude for these little goat to say, "Well, eat my brother, don't eat me." But anyway, so then along comes medium Billy Goat Gruff. Trip, 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 trip.
"Who is that upon my bridge?"
"It's I, medium Billy Goat." And the troll said,
"I'm going to eat you up."
Medium Billy Goat Gruff said, "Oh, if you just wait, my bigger brother is coming, and he's so much bigger. He's much fatter than I. He will be much tastier."
"All right, you can go."
So off went medium Billy Goat. Beep, 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 beep. Then along comes big Billy Goat Gruff.
Bonk, 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 bonk.
Because he's big and he's heavy.
"Who is that on my bridge?" "It is I, big Billy Goat Gruff." "What are you going to do about it?" "I'm going to eat you." "Well, come along. I've got 2 spears, and I'll poke out your eyeballs at your ears, and I've got besides 2 curling stones. I'll crush you to bits and body and bones."
Well, the troll's thinking, I'm much better than that, so he jumps up on the bridge. And sure enough, here comes big Billy Goat Gruff just a-running and smacks that troll, knocks him flying into the river, never to be seen again. So then the 3 billy goats could go back and forth between both fields, eating and getting fatter and fatter. Snip, snap, snout, now my tail's told out. Okay, so bridges. This story always kind of made me afraid of bridges because of the troll, of course, that lived under the bridges. So where we lived in Lebanon, there was a river called the Mascoma River, and it ran down through town, and right above it was the tannery, and a lot of times the tannery who made leather for shoes and things, well, they just put their dye in the river because back then they didn't know any better. So sometimes the river was this weird green color, and sometimes it was brown, and sometimes even a reddish or purple color. And of course the river was a very fast-flowing river. It was rolling and boiling of this water. And so as a little child, I was deathly afraid to cross that river. Even though there was a tarred road that went over the river, and there was the bridge wall was, if I remember, I'm pretty sure it was like steel piped type of a railing. You could look through it, but you couldn't get your body through it. But it still petrified me. I was scared to death to cross that river. I was so sure the troll was under the bridge and that he would come up and get me. And the other thing was that the train trestle ran across the river. And there was nothing around it. It was just the tracks with the trestle going down into the river. And in between the railroad ties, you could look down into the river. Well, no way, Jose. I wasn't going to walk on that. No way, no way. It was the biggest dare of all of the kids to see who could walk across that piece of track from one side to the other and get across the river. Well, I think I was probably 8 years old, and I decided that I would try to do it with my older cousin Estelle. So we both were walking very carefully and scared to death. First of all, because of the troll down there. Secondly, because you could look down and see the water rolling and boiling, and it was scary. And my cousin slipped, and her leg went down between two of the railroad ties, and all I remember is screaming and screaming, thinking that she was going to go down. Well, she didn't. I don't even remember us getting out of there, but I know we ended back up on the side of the road we'd started on the side of the river we'd started on. We never did get across. I don't think I crossed that trestle until I was pretty stinking old. I mean, like, wicked old. Because it scared me so much. Okay, so the other thing about a bridge is that my Aunt Ruby and Uncle Pinky lived in Alexandria, and they lived in a little house they called the Shack, and it was out on a dirt road. And to get to their house, you went down, you either drove on Smith River Road or you came down Cass Mill Road, but you had to cross the Smith River, and the bridge that was on the river was a very, very old wood plank bridge. And when you went on that bridge, it made noise. Like the boards always shook and rattled. And we were sure that my Aunt Ruby was a witch because every time we came to that bridge, all of us children would say, "Bridge, bridge, tell Aunt Ruby we're coming today." And when we would get to the house, she would say, "The bridge told me you were coming." So we thought she was a witch, that the bridge must have talked to her. And it wasn't until we were much older that we realized that, you could actually hear the echo of the timbers as a car or vehicle went across them at my aunt's house. Quite interesting. And that bridge was so scary. And finally, actually, they did block it off because it was in such bad repair. Very scary. And then they replaced it with a solid bridge. So it's no fun anymore. But I love bridges. And that's Nana's Nuggets for today. So I hope that you have enjoyed my stories. And tell me some of yours. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.